So it still looks pixelated up close, and overall it's not that great. So even though I could go ahead and add it right now, which I mean I'll do, but we're gonna have to make a few changes in order to make it look good. So I'll leave this at 15 just so we can go a bit faster. But I would recommend putting this at like 25 or something as a final render. I found anything over 30 crashes. I tried 35 once; it didn't work out very well. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so now I'm going to add another mix shader there, and I'll delete the diffuse. What I want is actually I'm going to use an ambient occlusion. Now I'm using an ambient occlusion because I want it to be white foam, and I want to be able to see some of the bump detail. If you're using like a night scene, oceans like in the dark or whatever, then you might want to go ahead and experiment with different nodes because you don't want it glowing, obviously. But in the daytime, you want it pure white, and so that looks fine. But I also want some of the bump detail that I'll add in. So now I'm going to go in. I found that that's not quite bright enough. I want it white. That looks kind of beige. So I'm going to input RGB, make that completely white, plug that in, and then add a color hue saturation value, change that to like 1.5. So now we have our white there, and now I can go ahead and mix these two based on the factor there, and that is definitely backwards, so switch those around. There we go. We have our first parts of foam in Cycles. But that's definitely not all, because you can see that it doesn't look all that good, and we don't even have the wake from the monkey. So I'll go ahead and go into solid view now and play this back a little bit, so we just get a little bit of the dynamic paint that's going to be in there, so we can go ahead and view that. So this is going kind of slow, but that's okay. And that'll be good enough. Okay. Go back in rendered view. So now, just like we got the foam into Cycles, we are going to do the same thing with dynamic paint. So you can see that down here in the dynamic paint output, we have a wet map and a paint map, and I can use those as attributes, so I can duplicate that. Control C, copy that name,